I think this is about 10 times the onions we've grown ever. You see her drive him away?
I did.
She's not being very nice. Hey 236, how are you? You look good this morning.
You need to get that fence moved so she can get out of this poopy area.
That's his poop, probably. That's so weird. We're seeing this really weird white stuff on the poop here and on it here. It's like, I think it's his poop. A couple concerning things this morning. She's driving that calf away. She's not letting him come near. She's not letting him get close enough to nurse. That was smart. You fed them to the side so they'd get out of the way. Can you herd him down?
Yummy.
There we go. Hi, little guy.
The guy at the farm store sold us this as hay the other day. He was just a kid though. He was like a high school kid and he brought this out. I said, that's not hay, that's straw. But I'll take it anyway. I doubt he's eaten anything all night. Our first priority this morning is to let him eat. Because she's not letting him eat in the pasture. She's driving him away, putting her head down like she's gonna butt him, but she doesn't get close to him. And he runs off. So we're gonna either let him get on or put him on her udder and let him drink as much as possible. If he does that twice a day, he'll be okay. It's not necessarily ideal, but he shouldn't get dehydrated and die. Is he drinking water?
Yeah.
Do you think he drank milk out of a bucket or with a nipple?
It could have been either one. But
Cows can drink out of a bucket.
So I talked to my friend last night who's well versed in bottle calves. I was asking her some tips and also just some things to be looking out for. She said let him nurse twice a day, as much as he can hold, and like morning and evening. So that's what we're gonna do. I think Alice will take him once he smells like her.
Oh. You know where it is. Go find it. Go get it. Alright. He's pooping right there. That's good so we can see what it looks like. What's it supposed to look like? I mean, it's hard to say because he's transitioning between...
It's supposed to look like green slimy poop.
I actually don't know because he's had formula.
It's been a couple minutes. He's not gotten on by himself, so we're going to put him on the halter and actually put him on. It's possible that he's nursed out there. It's possible. We don't know. Do you want to try to get him on there, Miss Grace?
One. Okay, one.
We got him on the other side here so we can try to get his fill. When he was trying to get on the back teat where there's more milk, she was kicking.
I just talked to my friend and did some reading about his poop, and most likely, and I don't know if this is the technical term, but he's got nutritional scours, which is a white scour, which comes from undigested milk and doesn't usually need to be treated. So that's encouraging, and it makes sense. I mean, he had a big day yesterday and then drank a whole bunch of milk for the first time, but I don't know if this was the best idea. I mean, we did it last year, but the circumstances were very, very different. You're a goofball. So, yeah, after spending the last bit reading about all this stuff, I am, of course, just feeling like, oh my goodness, what have we done?
Stopping for right now, it looks like it. I wonder if that's enough.
If he stops, he stops. You know, if he stops. I do think we need to keep water out there for him. I don't know if he can reach our water bucket.
He's nursing more.
He's getting the easy teats, unfortunately. Be kind of nice if he'd get the short little back teats.
It looks like he's done. He's pooping again. Go with Daddy.
What you got there, buddy?
A chick.
I'm just checking his room in if it was super sunken.
Oops. It was, but now it's not.
Yeah, but now it's nice and full. He has a triangle right here. It was way sunken and now it's a lot fuller. That means we know he got some good milk. What are you doing?
Letting him perch on me.
Letting him perch.
Will you please get...
You were afraid he's gonna fall. Here you go.
Just don't squeeze him.
No, I know. We can get to it now. You did so good.
Let milk Alice.
He said, let's milk Alice. That's what we're gonna do now. There's none in the front teeth. And I think she's holding it back though because it's not totally soft.
I've enjoyed milking this go around more than ever before.
Yeah, me too. I think for me it's because we're doing it together. And because I'm not stressed about the kids while I'm doing it. You know, it's just they were younger before. It's like we've kind of hit this place where Grace or Joyful can make sure the baby's safe, the boys can play or be with us. Yeah, what? Do we have muffin cups?
I'm not sure.
If we have muffin cups, but otherwise make blueberry scones. Your cookbook's in the barn near your fort. You left it there. I maybe got 2.5 gallons this morning, which means a couple things. The calf is keeping up, and then the other calf definitely drank a lot this morning. The two front udders were completely empty. I couldn't get anything out of them. Well, that's that. We're going to keep them in the barn, keep them close together, and hopefully that's going to encourage her to be a little more friendly towards him. Are you making breakfast?
Yeah. I'm making muffins. Blueberry and chocolate.
And where did you get the recipe?
This book, but I changed it a lot.
Can you hold it up so we can see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of you guys have asked me how my kids cook so much and take over so many meals. Mostly it's because their grandmother and then myself have just let them cook with us since they were very little. Their grandma taught me how to do that with children. But this book, since they're wanting to be way more independent, I got them this book and they love it. It is a really, really good kids cookbook. It has different levels, but I also like that it teaches technique. It teaches about sifting dry ingredients together. It teaches about not to blend brownies too much or they become cakey, things like that. This is a really great book and I'll link it below. I know we say that a lot, but it's because when I show you guys stuff, you always want to know where to get it. Highly, highly, highly recommend this book.
I'm making some mini things for my little muffins because we don't have any.
Muffin cups, mini
Yeah.
muffin cups. Cool. Whew, as soon as we're done, we are heading up to the garden. It is a big harvest day. Every day this week has been a big harvest day. We have onions to harvest today.
No, that's not too bad.
Now it's an easy,
It's just
easy
like
thing.
pull. Okay, we're done. And now we just have to store them out.
Oh yeah, onion harvesting time. And we have a great harvest. I want to show you what I did to prepare to harvest onions. Ours look ready to harvest and about 1/3 of them were already falling over. So I went through both of our onion beds and just knocked them over like this and bent them down. What I read said to do this 24 hours before you harvest, but I did it probably 3 days ago, maybe longer. And you just bend over the top like this, and that keeps the plant or the bulb from drawing water up into itself, and it just helps with storing and curing. And now I've harvested a gigantic onion the size of a softball. It's perfect.
Just look how big this one is.
Wow. We've got two 30-foot beds or so. They're a little under 30-foot beds with onions in them. We've never gotten this much harvest. It feels like I've said that before this year, and it's because I have. We've never gotten this much onions. I said that about the potatoes.
These candy onions, I can't remember if they're long day, short day, or intermediate day. I think they're intermediate day. They are pungent onions rather than mild onions, which means they should store pretty well. I did get a lot of comments saying that they're on the sweeter side, so it makes them not store as long as most pungent onions. But I'm excited to see if we can cure them well and how long they'll last. And if they start going bad, I'll probably just dice them all up and freeze them.
I think this is about 10 times the onions we've grown ever. And we've never grown a consistent onion larger than a tennis ball.
This variety though is known for the large bulbs, so it's not just because we're great gardeners.
It's amazing to me how little roots they have, and they grow these giant bulbs.
Sometimes I come across one that didn't grow at all, and I don't know why.
Like that one right there. This is fun.
To have a good onion harvest, you actually have to keep your bed weed-free. And we did a pretty good job keeping it weed-free until I knew we were about to harvest them. And then I just said, you know what, I have other things to focus my attention to, so I let the weeds grow.
It's really just satisfying feeling just to pull them out of the ground and they like crunch a little. These are my first onions.
It smells so good, you can smell it. It's a heavy load.
Yeah, the wagon wheel's broken.
How much did this onion drying rack cost? And where did you get it from?
It was $100.
It's $100 IKEA.
It's a $100 IKEA bunk bed, which will still be a bunk bed, even when we're done with this.
Wilder's going to bed with the onions. We're just laying them out so the bulbs aren't touching ideally, so these green tops can dry. The idea here is that we're curing these onions in preparation for winter storage. You want to store your onions over long term in a cool, dry environment. But for curing, for several weeks before you put them in your cold storage area, you want them in a warm, dry area, like this barn. This barn's perfect, where they can dry out on the outside. The green plants can dry, and then before you store them, you'll clip off the green plants, clip off the roots, and put them in bags or braid them together.
We need to arrange these down here a little bit better because there's too many touching.
That's a lot of onions. That's great.
Good job. Yep.
You think it's a year's worth of onions?
52 weeks in a year. I don't know how many onions it is.
I think it is.
Some of them are huge, so we'd only need like half. I want to make some onion rings and some fried onions. I want to make green bean casserole, and I think I literally have every single ingredient for it from our farm. I really want to encourage so many of you that I'm sure are looking at these harvests that we're having, some of which are really good, some of which are just really just okay, but all of them seem really productive and abundant, and they are. I want to say something to you. Our garden is not perfect, and we're still growing food in it. We've probably grown an entire year's worth of onions, and you saw how weedy the bed was. Our potato plants were dying. We still got a good harvest. My cucumber plants are dying, but I've had a pretty good cucumber harvest. I guess all I'm trying to say is don't let the imperfection of your knowledge base or of your skill level or of your actual garden keep you from growing food if that's what you want to be doing.
And the fact that we're not expert gardeners, we actually have just grown a garden for a few seasons. We have read a ton about it and learned a lot, but mostly we've just learned by doing it over and over. I guess what I'm trying to say is it doesn't even have to be perfect for it to produce. It does have to be perfect for it to be super amazing abundance, like for someone who's market gardening. Yeah, if your backyard garden is out there and it's super weedy, I would just encourage you to take a day and go out there and clean it up and see what you can harvest, and don't give up on it. It's rest time, nap time. Actually, I'm gonna go pick beans, but before I do that, I am going to just freeze these tomatoes. I don't have enough for a canning session. So I'm just gonna freeze, I'm gonna wash, quart, and freeze these in freezer bags. I'll show you what to do. This is a great little tip if your tomatoes don't all come on at the same time, or if you don't have enough at one time to can. You're just gonna core the middle of the tomato out. These are Amish paste tomatoes, so I think some of them aren't. They're supposed to be Amish paste tomatoes. That is not an Amish paste tomato.
but like that is. It's a Roma type tomato that is just less seedy, so it makes good sauce. Anyways, I also cut off the blossom end. I'm just gonna throw these in this bag. Some people, even when they do this, they'll just do an X on the bottom. Just a little X on the bottom. When you pull these out of the freezer and they thaw, you can just pull the skin right off and make your sauce.
I see that you got your boots on, buddy. Those look a little big. Here's yours if you want them.
I want these.
What do you want to wear?
These.
You want to wear those big ones? Those are too big for you. Bree's been picking beans with one of her good friends in our garden in her gleaning row. She has a whole row of beans set aside for gleaning. In times past, the Hebrew people were required by the law to actually allow the poor to come to their fields and glean, and that was to gather the ungathered and the leftover grains and crops. And our friend's not poor by any stretch of the imagination, but just allowing people to come and actually pick out of our garden. We really enjoy it, and we have the abundance, especially in the bean department, to do so. They picked beans while I edited my video and the kids played, and then she went with her friend to go actually pick blueberries in a field, blueberry patch that her friend has access to. They know what time it is. They get fed every evening, and that just makes it easy to put them up at night so they don't get eaten by any wild predators. It also means they'll be hungry in the daylight hours and go out and forage for their own food, which is good for them and for us.
Oh goodness.
Oh, the grapevines make it hard to close.
Wow.
These geese live in the pasture, in the back pasture and along the creek, and they do really well. We hardly feed them at all. That's my idea with raising geese. They're one of the most self-sufficient animals you could raise. Pigs, on the other hand, require a lot of concentrated feed if you want them to grow rapidly. I guess they could survive in the woods though. Look what they didn't finish from yesterday. They didn't even eat all the bean ends. They didn't like those raw beans. Now we've got to get the calf on Alice again. This is something we're going to have to do twice a day until we see that he's just spontaneously nursing and she's permitting him to nurse. It looks like he jumped right on and is nursing, which is really a good sign. This morning when we put her in the stand, he didn't. It's really hard to tell whether he's nursing out in the pasture or not because we can't watch all the time, and he might nurse, 3 times in a day, especially if she's kicking at him a little bit. We're just doing the safe thing for right now and making sure that we actually watch him nurse. The cows are about to go out of here and the goats will come in from the back. We're kind of just like air traffic controllers. The animals do the real work.
They're milking Alice.
Yeah, they're milking Alice.
They're milking 3, 4, 5, 6.
There's 2 of them nursing at the same time. He's nursing on that back quarter and she's not kicking him. And I think it's because both calves are nursing at the same time. And she knows it. She doesn't want to kick her own calf. Or she might just be coming around to him. Did you catch one?
Yeah.
A couple of the pullets found a hole and slipped out. Is that the last one?
Yeah.
Okay, great job. Thank you. Can you make sure they can't get out of that hole? I'm just waiting on him to finish now. He's been on there almost 15 minutes. And I know he's getting a full tummy. Alright, out of here. The calves thought they were going to sleep in the stall, but they're going out on the grass for tonight. Alright guys, it's time to shut the show down. We're cooking a late supper. All the chores are done. We're about to get everyone to bed. Keep coming back this week because we have a packed garden harvest week. We've already pulled out 200 pounds of potatoes, over 100 pounds of onions, well over 60 pounds of green beans, and there's a lot more to go. Plus, we'll let you know how this calf is doing on this little bit of a scary adventure that we're on.